What's up, everybody? Welcome to Planet Pepe. So this is a story of how I guess like let's say my first year learning guitar, and how it was a lot different. It's interesting. So let's start with this. So growing up, I always knew I wanted to learn guitar, and deep down, I always knew I was gonna learn. I just had this in the back of my mind because before I even played instruments, I loved music still. And I was always like, I'm going to learn guitar one day. I'm going to learn guitar one day. And growing up in my hometown in New Jersey, I would see people left and right pick up guitar, say they're going to learn. It'd be a month would go by. It would be too difficult, and they would put it down and never play again. It was uncanny, like how often I saw that. And I always told myself, I mean, there were people who in my hometown who genuinely played too, who were like good and formed bands and stuff. But I would see people in high school left and right, oh, I'm gonna learn guitar, and they're like a month in, they're like too difficult, screw it. I always said I'd rather never learn than be one of those people and try and not those people, but you know what I mean. So I was like, when I start, I gotta keep going with it. So I was just waiting for the right time. I talked about this kind of in one of the first videos I did on this channel, but I figured I'd tell like the full story. So, when I turned 19 after graduating high school, I moved to New York, and I was living with some people, and it was perfect because they pretty much everyone who I lived with played guitar. So there were always guitars around. So like our group of maybe like 8 people or so, we all came together. We lived, it was in college, so I lived in the dorms, and they all had their guitars around. And one day, very early on, maybe if I went there like late August, like early September, when I was hanging out with these people, I picked up the guitar. It was a Fender, my friend Furnace's, and I didn't know what I was doing. Blah, blah, blah. I just kind of messed around, and I put it down after a couple minutes, and I said, all right, like, now you're in. Like, you can't just, now that was your first lesson. So, so time goes on, right? And a lot of things happen that I didn't expect. So the people who played guitar and the people who did, because not everyone played guitar, and the people who didn't play guitar who we hung out with, it's bizarre. I was really taken aback about how negative the vibe was. Even though we got along in a lot of aspects, they would get so annoyed when I would try to play. And this would go on for months. I'm a slow learner in general. I do have kind of some dyslexia, and I'm left-handed. And even though I play righty, I'm a left hand. I do everything with my left hand. But when I decided I was going to learn, the only guitars around were right-handed. So my mindset was like, all right, this is going to be hard anyway. I might as well just go for it, So it was an extremely slow process. It took me for just doing that for me for months would be like you're looking and and granted I wasn't good, and I was bad, so maybe they didn't want to hear bad music, but I would always I would always ask can I borrow, I would never just grab their guitars. I would always ask hey, do you mind if I practice for a bit? And I could just feel the room with the eye rolls, oh dude, is he give it up kind of thing. They were so, society loves guitar players, but they don't love people learning guitar. It actually really, I was so taken aback and kind of annoyed how there was no positive feedback. It was put it down. They're well, if you don't play guitar, why are you picking up the guitar? Leave it to people who know what they're doing. It's just everyone at some point didn't know what they were doing. Should they have never picked up a guitar either? So it was really weird, and it was uncomfortable for months, but I kept telling myself, go through it, just keep at it. So the year goes by, month after month, and I'm playing, and I'm not getting much better. I'm really not, and I'm getting discouraged at a certain point. And I'm just kind of but you can't give up. I came to the conclusion of maybe I just will never be good. Maybe it's, and it kind of, that along with the negativity of like, you know, people. I was more shocked about the people who didn't play. I mean, okay, so the people who didn't play and would give me like learn a new song, or like give it up Peppy kind of thing. Maybe it was in jest, but there was definitely truth to that. I was annoyed by it because I'm like, at least I'm trying here. Like, you guys could pick up the guitar. Like, you're telling me you wouldn't want to play guitar. Like, if you had the chance, like if you could, you wouldn't do it. And the people who would teach me, or who knew guitar, I thought they would be a little more open to me. Like, oh, you know, you're trying to learn. You know, come on, we'll teach you some stuff. And they did, but it was also kind of this like, it was the same eye roll of like, dude, you're just annoying me. You're playing terrible, and like you know, and it would be discouraging because when I would listen to them play, they would just be shredding, and I would be like, oh man, like, you know, now here I am, and it's, you know, I'm pretty much embarrassing myself. I stuck through it. So the year goes by, and I've made some improvements, very, very little, but some improvements. You know, I could play some things. There were some like basic, you know, song, you know, tabs that I had learned. I remember I annoyed him the hell out of the Eric Clapton. This is like the one thing I learned that was like really good freshman year. See, I could barely play it now. I haven't played this in years. Something like that. I don't know. I haven't played that in literally years. That's why. But I would annoy the hell out of him with that. And they would make jokes like, "Hey, like if we were at parties, they would play like, 'Hey, Peppy, this sound familiar?' And they would play Layla by Clapton, and I'd be like, 'All right, I get it. I suck.'" So the summer comes, right? So I go home, and every day after work, I bought my neighbor Dan, who also played guitar. He was really good. He sold me this piece of junk. No offense to guitars, but he sold me this piece of junk acoustic that had been sitting in his basement, like his third backup guitar, for probably about like I don't know. I think he sold it to me for like $15 or something. And what I did was he taught me the G chord and the C chord, and he actually took time with me and taught me that. And every day after work, I would come home and I would practice G to C, and it was so difficult at first, but one day, like, it just got a little better every day. And I would just practice, instead of like learning, so I would just practice finger strength, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Like, I would just do that, and at the beginning it wasn't easy, and like, you know, you would just do like you would, especially getting like your pinky strength down and everything. But I stuck with it, and I did that literally for probably about half an hour every day after work for the whole summer. And on weekends I would, you know, do it even more. And I came back sophomore year. We were all we lived in the sophomore dorms, but we were all living together. It was the same crew, and we're hanging out. It's like the first night or something. I picked up the guitar, and I also learned this over the summer too. That thing, and all of it. Like, I picked up the guitar, and right away I felt those same eyes roll, the same like, are we still doing this? Come on, Peppy, give it up. And they didn't know I was practicing all summer. And I came back and started like playing and like, you know, finger picking. And they were like, they kind of like all looked at each other. Like, I remember more, my friend Dan and Tim, no, it was Dan and Terry were in the kitchen, and I was playing in the living room. There were a bunch of people, and I was playing on an electric guitar. I had the amp on, it was really low. And I heard Dan say to Terry, he's like, "That's really impressive." And Dan was like, "Yeah, I'm shocked Peppy got that good." And I really wasn't that good at the time, but like, if you don't know guitar, it's not like this sounds like heaven. Like, how do you do that? It's magical, or it's magic or something. So I kind of showed them, and by the time senior year came, we were all still friends and everything. And I had gotten really good. I had written some like good riffs, like the I wrote a bunch of like interesting stuff like the like that I would just kind of keep playing, just like so, like just like all this stuff. And they by senior year they were like, Pepe, that is far and away the most impressive thing like you've done in college. Like just like no matter what, like you just learned. Like we watched, like before our eyes you just became a guitar player. Like we didn't think you'd stick with it. Like we thought you were just fucking around. We didn't think you were practicing, you know. Like we thought you were just messing around, but like you were building towards something the whole time. So that was cool to finally get some recognition. But I will say this, I've always made a conscious decision to, if there's anyone new, and this goes, if you play guitar, if there's anyone new learning in your vicinity, be positive towards them. You know, like don't pressure them. Don't get agitated with them. Don't, you know, let them go at their own pace. You know, just let them have fun with it, because it really wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. So, and if you are interested in learning guitar and you're thinking about it, don't let people discourage you. You know, don't, just keep going with it. Just keep going with it. Don't put it down. You'll get there eventually. I mean, if I could learn it, anyone could learn it, and you'll probably end up being way better than I could be. So, yeah, that's kind of my story. It was a little discouraging, but you know, you just gotta keep going with it. And just, it's a hobby, you know. It's not like the world depends on it. Just screw that. Fuck the haters, you know. Anyway, all right, Planet Pepe, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that that kind of, you know, epilogue or whatever it's called. You know, quick story. Anyway, all right, peace out. Planet Pepe, bye.